Hello everybody, Luke here again for another video. So today we are going to be talking about managing account health and the importance of it. I could not stress enough how important maintaining healthy account health, which is obvious, is vital to your Amazon business. If you don't have, if you have a basically bad performance indexes like any policy violations or lots of negative feedback, then it could lead to an account suspension. If that happens, you have no account, you can't sell on Amazon again. And I've had people opening second accounts, but as far as I know, it's almost impossible to actually get around it and start again and try to get, hide that you got suspended the first time. They normally always find out. Well, 99% of the time, because they've got so much sophisticated stuff now that, like there's a lot of companies in China that are just getting around lots of sort of VAT and all that kind of thing, and they've been chucked off, and obviously they don't want counterfeit goods and all that kind of thing appearing onto their platform, and so it's like a really important thing for them to maintain that people that get suspended don't get back on this, as a seller. So I'm going to go over my account health, also what you need to be aware of to manage on I would say on a daily basis, but as a beginner maybe on every couple of days just check it. And make sure you check your emails, but not everything comes through onto your email, so you always have to actually look on the portal. And what you want to be looking at is here. Under performance, you have account health, feedback, and you want to look at voice of the customer. Now, if you get any issues, it should appear in performance notifications, but these three sections, account health, feedback, and voice of the customer, will have anything that does then pop into here. So this is like a summary list, but it's from these instances, these things. So I'll start with feedback. Nice and easy. Feedback will be left against your account. So you can see here how many feedback I've had over the last year, how many negatives I have had, and you might think 13's wow. I used to think that was like 2 is a lot. I used to think 2 is a lot. But the more products you sell, obviously everything increases. So if I've done over £1 million in a year sales, and I think I sold like, I don't know, tens of thousands of units. So of course you're going to have issues percentage wise. So like, it might only be 1-2%, but if you're selling like 1 million units, of course that's going to actually turn into a lot of single negatives or something. So you want to be checking this, and you won't have a lot of feedback to start with. So again, maybe you don't need to do it all the time. It only takes a couple of seconds to click these and just have a quick check. But you can see here, this one here, it says 1 packet burst, clearly has been on display, was dog-eared and tatty. The contents of it was all over the place. Now, what you can go ahead and do, if you feel that it's obviously got 1 there, if it's not related to you, so you think it's an Amazon, so it's not, if it was like wrong size, product is the wrong size, and all that kind of thing, and you might realise, oh crap, that was me, like I sent in the wrong size, you're almost never going to get them removed because that is your fault. Amazon will see that and go, look, they're saying it's the wrong size, so you must have done something. That's not our responsibility. And you can see there's a couple that have been, this is not being delivered or refunded, but I don't take care of the refund and the delivery. That's Amazon, so the FBA side. So anything that's related to after I've sent it in, it could be it doesn't get to them, the product's damaged when it received, and all that kind of thing. Obviously, you can see the 5 stars, all good, and you can obviously go and look at the ones that you want. And if you feel that that is not your responsibility, so you can see here it was, I sent the products in healthy. They checked them in as being good. It wasn't distributor damage, which is one of the statuses that can be. So if it's damaged, it will say distributor damage, which just means obviously it was damaged on delivery, and Amazon will not sell it. So these have been sold. And it's like, well, okay, so something's happened, from it being me sending it booking in, and then after that. And initially I couldn't get this removed. So you can get feedback removed if you don't feel that that is applicable to what you've done. And so what you can go ahead and do is you can click this icon here. Oh, you can't see it there. I've already got that. But you can do that. It says request removal. So you can't see it here because I've actually already got it removed. That's why you've got the cross through it. But you can go ahead and go request removal like this. It says, does this feedback you received meet the criteria? So obviously have a read there. Click the yes button. Okay, I've accidentally got this 5-star one removed. but now you see how easy it can be. It doesn't matter. They cross through this. And what would happen is they would say, we have reviewed the feedback and found it does not comply with our policy. So if it's not related, but then it might say that it might actually come back and say it does comply with our policies. We have not struck through. So if I just refresh this page, it's a bit annoying. I've got this. Hang on 1 second. You can see here, it's gone. It's gone. They've deleted it off. It can be crossed through or it can be deleted off. So you can clearly see that 5 stars just got accidentally removed. Oh well. It does actually have importance having 5 stars, but because I've got so many, I'm not worried about that. And if you do find that they don't cross through it, you can actually go back onto this, click request removal again, and then you can actually just click an option which says further, further conversation, further query, and then I normally, and for this one I put from when this is an FBA problem, fulfillment by Amazon, as this is now your responsibility, and then I will say I sent this in intact. You booked it in as being fit for sale and not distributor damage, which is when it's damaged. So therefore, this instance must have occurred from you shipping it to the customer, either in the fulfillment center or with the delivery company. And then they went and deleted it off me. And it doesn't always happen. Like, you will get ones where they even though you shouldn't have the feedback, you shouldn't have this, it will stay. So sometimes I'll have ones like this. So if I go negative, I'll show you. So yeah, this is my mistake. So I sold some Nescafe. It was wrong, and I can't do anything about that. Again here, and now and then it will happen. Now actually, it's not too bad there. But I can't give you an example. But it will sometimes say, you'll sometimes get it where it's like not your fault, and sometimes you just got to kind of take it with a pinch of salt, because you can keep querying it and you may get it removed. But it's like, how much energy do you put into it? If you don't really mind if you get, for me, I don't need to worry about it. But there is, as a beginner, an importance to it. So I'll go over that now. So if you go to account health, which is where pretty much everything pops up. So if you're doing merchant fulfilled, you'll get details here. I don't do that. But you'll see this, order defect rate. Now, you need to keep this under 1%. And you can see my percentage. Now, that means that if you get a negative feedback that says product was damaged and tatty, and you can't get it removed, yeah? And you sell only 50 units, then you get that negative feedback and you can't get it removed, that would actually be 2%. Because obviously it would say 2% of your orders. So if you sold only 50 at the beginning, or if you sold 100 or 101 units and you get it, that would be 1%, or 1 would be 1 of 100, yeah? But because I've sold 10,000 and something units in the last 6 days, obviously to get 1%, I have to have quite a lot of negative feedbacks. But at the beginning, that's important. If you've only sold 30 products and you get it, or 10 or 1, and it's the first one, you've got to really fast sell your products, and even if it's break even, because you've got to get that percent, because that can lead to an account suspension as a beginner seller. So all of these aspects of account health are so much more important as a beginner, because I can get away with a little bit more because I am so much larger. I'm going to have more problems because I'm selling so much more stock. I've been in the game longer, if you get what I'm trying to say. Obviously, as a brand new seller, they're suspicious that, oh, who is this person? We don't know them. There's no track record, no history, just like a credit rating. And so, at the beginning, any policy violation, which is, if you want to know what that is, it's under account health. This is really important. This is vital. Anything you see appear here, you want to go in and have a look. Most of the time, if you go in, you want to go and delete and close the listing immediately. Doesn't matter what the issue is, on everything. So if you go in here, or obviously you can see 3 and 4. Now I normally have like 1, and I'm like that's mine. I normally have this 1. I never had that, but 1 around here. And actually, I've recently got 4 and 3. And if you really want to see what they are, they're like for something very simple. Like it was these have been just deleted by Amazon because apparently there was no English writing on the descriptions. So some issues are worse than others, yeah, because like that's not. I mean, okay, there was English, but it deleted anyway. But the most important one is probably this. So the more you get of this, I've never had this, touch wood and all that. This isn't so bad. This is quite bad. That means you're basically not being careful of the products you sell. It probably is somebody's brand, and they want to keep it exclusive to themselves, and you're selling it. But their video, there's lots of videos on my YouTube channel about how to identify this kind of thing and not get this, if you get what I mean. Product authenticity, you get what that means. Could be counterfeit, so don't go and buy stuff from eBay and think it's, you know. Compliance, people, this is very similar to what I mentioned before. People can receive products that look like they're used. It could be all ripped open and damaged, and they send it and say it's been, basically it's not fit. It's not new. It's that, you know, it doesn't look like a new product. And unfortunately, I've got 3 in a row, which is crazy. I've had some now and then, but again, I do sell tens of thousands of units, and it's like that's going to happen as, you know, you're going to get more of these. So where it says good, I know people that have 1 or 2 of something, and it's on the amber, which is at risk, because I'm selling a lot more, and I have an older account, and I have a little bit more track record. Yeah, so that isn't bad. That's very bad. That's probably the worst one I would say. That's decently bad as well. People think it's counterfeit. That is okay. Not sure in terms of its, you know, I'm not sure of its actual importance. Pretty just around the middle. Not bad, not good. Same with that. That's normally if you're creating your own listings anyway. I mean, not. That's if Amazon deletes stuff off the platform because they think there's something wrong with the product page, which is not so bad because it happens all the time, even if the products are okay. And I've never really had any of these products. Sometimes you get pricing issues, and if you do, you can always drop me a message or go on the Facebook group and just say, what do I do with these pricings? Usually go and change the price of your product lower to basically fit within what Amazon expect you to be selling it at, because they don't want you to be ripping people off, and then it will disappear. But this is a vital stream. So not only is the order defect rate, which goes through to your feedback, but maintaining this, and don't leave anything here. As in, don't go, oh, it's only 1, I'll leave it. At least bare minimum, go in, close and delete your listing. And you can actually go ahead and do that by like clicking into here. It says, so yeah, so it'll give you the action. So this says listing at risk of removal. So I've not actually got my listings deleted or anything, but you can. As a new seller, you probably would get it deleted. But what you can go ahead and do is click the issue. Go ahead and get that ASIN, you know, I always mention, copy it, go into your actual inventory to search for that ASIN, and then close and delete. It'll be an option. There'll be a little box like this. Once you click, it's a little like box you tick on the left, and then on the far right there'll be another little drop down, and you want to close and delete. Always do that right as fast as possible, basically. Never leave them there. So yeah, this is a vital screen. So I check this daily. Like, I have a virtual assistant who will actually give me a message in the morning before I even have a look myself to say, you know, and it will basically prompt, like a summary. It prompts me to check myself if there's an issue. So say, yeah, you've got a new XYZ, new feedback problem or something. But another thing to be aware of, so I can't have this is the most vital, but obviously leads into feedback, is voice of the customer. Now, this isn't going to apply so much when you're new, but what will happen is, you can see here, so when people return stock from you, they will sometimes leave comments, and I'll give you a good one. This pet food. So I had 9 orders and 7 negative experiences. That's normally where something's, you know, it's not just returning a product, it's something pretty decently wrong. Now, if you look at the returns, the recent customer feedback returns down here, read what it says. It basically says it's a salmon flavour. Now, as soon as I had 1 or 2 of these, like, because they probably came on the same day, I instantly closed and deleted the listing, like I mentioned before, and I then recalled the stock, and then I had to send back in the salmon under the correct listing, and this would just stay up here for about a year or 6 months. Yeah, last time it was here was last June, so it was a long time ago, and it's still here. But this then leads on to potentially getting negative feedback. If you didn't see this, you would keep selling that product. I might have had 20 units, so I only sold 9. But you could sell all 20 and have like even more return issues, and that could lead to people leaving negative feedback on your account, which can then have an impact on your order defect rate, so on and so on. And so that's why this is a good like prompt, like, you know, it's quick action, like a response, so that you can go ahead in and actually try to rectify an issue before it gets worse. Because if you never saw this at all, you wouldn't know, because these comments don't really appear anywhere else on the whole platform. They don't show up under show up on the like returns issue. Like, you know, when people return it doesn't come up with that comment. And so this is why this is like a fast action rectify the issue to avoid future problems. And that is everything. There's many other things like chargeback and A to Z claims. I've never had them. They're more to do with merchant and a lot excuse me. In America it happens a lot more, but not so much. But you really need to keep on top of these things and make sure you're not just leaving it 2-3 weeks, because I know people that just leave them and like, oh, I got 6 of these, I didn't get an email. It doesn't always come on email, and you have to be aware of that. Anyway, gonna leave it there, everyone. Any comments you want, drop it on the YouTube channel or the Facebook group, and I'll happily help. Or yeah, enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye.